You just finished a 10-hour workday. You're physically and mentally exhausted, but when you look at your done list, it's empty. Your neck is stiff, your eyes are burning. You've been busy for 10 hours, but you haven't been productive. You've spent the day in a shallow work. Replying, noted, to 100 WhatsApp messages isn't work. It's an interrupter. Your brain is stuck in a state of permanent attention residue. Each switch effectively drops your functional IQ by 10 points. This isn't a lack of discipline, it's a biological crisis. Your brain occupies only 2% of your weight but consumes 20% of your total energy. You are operating on a permanent energy deficit, exceeding your allostatic capacity daily. Singapore is a masterclass in efficiency. Today, we deconstruct the neurobiology behind some of the things that are breaking our best minds. Singapore is a masterclass in engineering, a hyper-efficient, high-density society. But there is an attention trap. We are living in a state of hyper-synchronicity, where the digital leash has never been shorter. With smartphone penetration exceeding 98%, the Singaporean brain has adapted. We've traded sustained attention for hyper-scanning. It's a survival mechanism. We skim for updates because the infinite stream of pings has exceeded our evolutionary bandwidth. This leads to the productivity paradox. Singaporeans work some of the longest hours globally, averaging 44.5 hours a week. There is a difference between being busy and being productive. Cultural drivers like kiasuism turn the workplace into a theater of visibility. We suffer from notification anxiety, the moral obligation to reply within seconds, even if it breaks our deepest thoughts. When you are interrupted every 6 to 11 minutes, you enter a state of cognitive fragmentation. You might work for 10 hours, but you've produced 0 hours of deep, high-value output. To understand why your drive feels broken, we have to look at the mesolimbic pathway, your brain's primary reward highway. Cultural drivers like kiasuism, the fear of losing out, keep this highway in a state of chronic hyperarousal. Every time you hunt for windfall or LinkedIn title, your VTA fires phasic bursts of dopamine. This isn't pleasure, it's the molecule of pursuit. Motivation relies on the ratio between these phasic spikes and your tonic baseline, your steady, background energy. When we over-rely on the spikes, like a seesaw, for every artificial high you chase, your brain forces a physiological load to protect itself. This is D2 receptor downregulation. To survive the constant barrage of status cues and digital pings, your brain physically reduces the number of available receptors. It literally turns down the volume on your ability to feel rewarded. The result? You secure the prize, but feel nothing. You enter the post-achievement void, where your baseline is so eroded that even a high salary feels dull and gray. We prize multitasking as a badge of efficiency, but neurobiology proves that the human brain does not multitask, it serial tasks. Every shift between task A and task B requires a massive burst of metabolic energy just to re-engage. This is attention residue. Research shows it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully refocus after a single interruption. Part of your neural resources stays stuck on the previous ping, making your functional IQ effectively drop by 10 points, the equivalent of losing a full night's sleep. In the average Singaporean office, you are interrupted every 6 to 11 minutes. This means you spend your entire workday in a state of cognitive fragmentation. You never reach flow, because the interruptions arrive faster than your recovery time. You've created a picket fence of attention. You have many small slivers of focus, but never the deep, horizontal stretches required for rare and valuable problem solving. Your brain is physically unable to maintain the sharp contrast between relevant signal and environmental noise. It's not just a distraction, it's an executive failure of the hardware itself. Deep work is not just a mental state, it is a metabolically expensive physical process. Your brain represents only 2% of your body weight, yet it consumes a staggering 20% of your total energy. High-level focus requires the constant recycling of ATP, your cellular fuel. But sustained concentration has a byproduct, the accumulation of extracellular glutamate in your LPFC. Think of this as the chemical exhaust of your thoughts. Every micro-decision, from what you eat at a hawker center to which email you triage first, depletes your brain's finite supply of glucose. By mid-afternoon, this chemical waste triggers a fatigue signal, known as decision fatigue. Under chronic stress, your mitochondria, the power plants of your neurons, become the bottleneck of executive function. Oxidative stress can physically damage the DNA in your focus center, reducing your ability to create new energy factories. When glutamate levels hit a critical ceiling, your brain initiates a cognitive stop signal. It's not laziness, it's a biological shutdown. The executive has effectively left the building, and you are now operating on pure impulse. Singapore's climate is a silent focus killer. When you move from the 32 degrees Celsius humidity of a hawker center into a 20 degrees Celsius meat locker office, your body undergoes a massive thermoregulatory shift. To maintain homeostasis, your body diverts glucose, the primary fuel for your focus, away from your brain and toward metabolic heating and cooling. This is the thermal tax on your concentration. Then there is acoustic friction. Human speech is evolutionarily hardwired to be the most distracting sound to your brain. Even if you aren't listening, your salience network is subconsciously processing those voices, looking for meaning or threats. In a 70 decibel open office, this constant background processing consumes significant cognitive fuel. Beyond sound, the visual density of the city triggers thousands of saccadic eye movements per hour. Each movement forces your brain to restabilize your visual field and re-evaluate your surroundings. By the time you reach your desk, you are already suffering from sensory exhaustion. The biological result? Abrupt thermal changes can increase the permeability of your blood-brain barrier, allowing minor inflammatory markers to trigger low-grade neuroinflammation. This is the science behind the mid-afternoon brain fog. Your brain is perceiving the stress of the city exactly like a physical infection. There is a conflict between an optimized, hyper-connected environment and a biological brain. You aren't sot or lazy. You are operating in a perfect storm of dopamine downregulation and metabolic exhaustion. Willpower alone cannot fix this. We have to change the biochemical variables. Focus is the ultimate competitive advantage in the age of AI. In our next video, we move from the why to the how. We will build your focus fortress, engineer your digital architecture, and implement the neuro restoration framework to reclaim your cognitive sovereignty. I'll see you there.